Welcome back, and we want to do some health issues. I'm sure around this time, a lot of concentration is on the food we take in. Lots of parties, and at the end of the day, we tend to eat so many things. Some are gifts, some are things we actually buy from the marketplace and all that. But have you ever wondered whether the food you are eating is safe for your health? Well, this morning I've been joined by Benjamin Kisi-Sasu, who is the head of the Education and Editorial Committee of the Ghana Veterinary Medical Association, KNUST. And he is also here with Kweku Apia-Dodu, who is also a member of that committee, and we'll look at food safety. Okay, so welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Great. Benji, let me start from you.
Yeah.
Typically, when we talk about food safety, what precisely are we looking at?
Actually, food safety is a scientific discipline that describes the way that we handle our food, we get it prepared and stored in a way that it has prevent foodborne illness.
Okay.
And let us put in mind that from the producer to the consumer, we all have to play a role.
Right.
From that point, the various stages goes through, we can have it getting the food become unsafe for us for consumption. And many a time we all think about only the producer, forget that we the consumers also play a role.
Okay.
And a lot of processes, like from the farm, they transport it to the abattoir. The process goes through the processing, then before it comes to our table, even at the marketplace, the market women who are selling, how are they handling our foodstuffs? Are they getting contaminated? Are we getting infections from that side? And also come to our farms. The farmer, what is he doing? Is it obeying the withdrawal period? Because when you give certain drugs, you're supposed to wait for some time. But some people, because of money, like I get the Christmas season, it's left with 2 days to Christmas. He has given me a drug. He's supposed to wait for 14 days, which when you calculate, it will be Christmas will be over.
Right.
He decided not to obey. And
go straight to it.
Yes, to go straight to it. So I think we all have a role to play in food safety, making food safe for us to consume.
Okay, Kweku, let me come to you. Let's shift the focus from the producer to the ordinary consumer. For somebody sitting at home handling food, what are some of the things they do that can contaminate the food and make the food unsafe?
Yeah, with individuals at home handling food, first it's important that they observe personal hygiene, because personal hygiene goes a long way to affect the food you eat. Probably before you even handle the food, you went to the washroom and you forgot to wash your hands, and that can go a long way to contaminate the food. So we want to talk about personal hygiene. So you need to first keep your hands clean even before you handle the food. Apart from that, when you have the food, let's talk about meat. If it's meat,
right,
wherever it's from the market, from the slaughterhouse, you first need to wash it with water before you can cook it or spice up anything. So apart from that, I'll talk about the utensils. What is used in keeping the food or the meat. It must be clean. It must be clean. There shouldn't be any dust. It must be clean. It must be washed.
Okay.
Because that too can go a long way to contaminate the food. And also, let's talk about the environment, the sanitation, the environment. Let's move from the home to the market. I think there should be a good sanitation at the market where the meat is sold, because that too can contaminate the food. It's very important. Probably there are flies around, the flies settling on the meat or on the food, and you don't know where flies are from. It is contamination, and then it goes a long way to bring about diseases. So we'll talk about good sanitation. We'll talk about proper handling of the food, whether at home, whether at the slaughterhouse, whether at the market. And then Sasu talked about the withdrawal period. It's very important. Because
what exactly is it? Withdrawal for who and why?
Yeah, withdrawal period. What about withdrawal period? It comes in when we administer a drug or any substance to a livestock or to an animal. So let's imagine we've administered a drug to the animal. Maybe it's for treatment of a disease. Now these drugs have withdrawal periods, and the withdrawal periods it talks about the time during which the substance administered can
actually work.
Will actually leave the animal's tissue, such that the concentration of the substance administered will reach a safe and accessible level, such that the meat of the animal can be consumed.
Okay, so let me put it in context. So, for example, if you have goats
yes,
or cow, and then they are sick,
yes,
and then the veterinary doctor administers a drug,
yes,
there's a period during which you should leave the animal before you touch it, or
before it's slaughtered or it's sold.
Okay, slaughtered.
Yes.
But the issue you are bringing to us is that some people don't wait for the required period.
They don't comply.
Because of the rush for money, they go out and sell it.
That's
okay. That's a very interesting point.
And that goes a long way to bring about drug resistance.
Okay.
Or antibiotic resistance. Okay. Because when there are residues of the drug in animal's tissue, humans consume it, and then it just continues from there. You know, the bacteria become resistant to drugs, and then it affects the health of.
Ben, you see, this one you've spoken nicely about it, but for me, ordinary person, if I go to buy meat or I'm going to even buy a goat or something, how do I even know if the animal is within the withdrawal period or whatever it is? I may not have any clue. Is there a way the ordinary consumer can see and say that as for this one I want to buy this one? Is there anything we can use to see that?
Yeah, probably. As I start, I want to put it in two ways.
Okay.
Some people like live animals.
Okay.
Some people like to purchase a live sheep, goat, a poultry bird. In doing that, you have to be careful. Look at the activeness of the animal at the market.
Okay.
Whether there are any secretions like fluid from the eyes, nostrils. Look at the skin of the animal or the feathers, how it's looking. Is moving, is active. All those things you have to play in. You have to know where you buy your stuff. Because for the vet, once in a while, we can sometimes put a control that, okay, there's a, when it was bird flu, we said, oh, this area, there's no, yes. Okay. And so people have to also be listening to news to know that this area, so when you go and buy those stuff, you have to ask, where are those animals coming from? So you're more concerned whether you need to purchase the animal. All these things go to a play. That's why the media is always helping us to do our job and keep us. So it's good we always get glued to our television set and also listen to whatever goes on. Then also, with the antibiotic resistance, as a normal human being, there's no way you could see. That's more work done by the vet and the farmers. So I believe the Farmers Association should, knowing the effect, normally we do organize education for them, let them know. And I believe as human beings, we know how life is precious. If we all put all this into play, we'll do our best. Because right now, doctors are really struggling at the human hospitals. Because they give out drugs, and it's like, it's not working. It's not like they've been able to diagnose very well. They've diagnosed very well. They've given the right drugs. But because we have taken drug through the food that we eat. And so that is more contamination in the system. And it's become a global concern to the extent that World Health Organization, FAO, World Veterinary Association, World Medical Association are all joining hands with what we call one health concept. That we should all come on board and help all these things to be settled.
Quickly, let me bring you into the conversation. Now, tell us clearly, what are some of the effects of consuming unsafe food? I mean, on the human being, on the consumer. What are some of the direct impacts that these things have on us?
Yes, all right. Okay, before I even go there, I'd like this platform to commend the livestock farmers in Ghana. Most of them are very careful in what they do. Yeah, they normally come to the vets once a while, and it's good. We want to commend them. Let's keep it up. Now, the effects of eating unsafe food. Well, let's start with infection. Once the food is contaminated and you take it in, you become infected. Whatever pathogen is contaminated with, you become infected with that pathogen. And once there's infection, there is disease. So from the infection, you start developing disease. And now the disease can come in various forms. It could be food poisoning. It could be any disease of any system of the body. But let me talk about, recently there was a cholera outbreak. You know, it goes to the cholera outbreak, typhoid. And all these diseases are life-threatening. You know, it's sad, it's heart-rending that cholera took lives. But that's a reality. You know, once there's contamination, once there's disease, there's likelihood that there's going to be death. So the effects we can talk about, infection, disease, and death, and also, lots of income, lots of income, because once you are sick and in hospital, wasting your time in the hospital, there's no work being done, there's lots of income, you know, and it's sad.
Okay. All right. So let me end this interesting conversation with you, Benjamin. So in this Christmas season, people will be given gifts, people will go and buy food products and all that. What are the key things we are supposed to look out for to ensure that our families are safe, especially with regards to the things that we eat?
That's a good question. Look at canned food like this. We have to check the expiry date. Look at whether the can is dented. You have to look at all those issues.
And how does that affect the safety of the food? If there's a small dent or it falls down and there's a slight bulge somewhere, does it really affect the content?
It means the content of the can has been compromised.
Yes.
Because when there's a small hole, whatever is inside, whatever is outside can get inside.
So a leakage.
A leakage can happen. We are more careful about it. That's why we said, we don't, though we don't know, we suspect. We said, don't try at all, don't touch it at all.
So once it's dented, there's a bulge on the side, whatever it is, you should reject it.
Unless at the marketplace you took it and it fell from your hand and hit on the ground.
Directly.
That you can take it, and when you go home, you just make sure you use it.
But once it's on the shelf and it's dented or there's a blood somewhere, we should just
there are also signs of spoilage.
Okay.
So we don't try.
Even though the expiry date
it
can still be affected.
Anything can happen during the process.
Go ahead.
Then also with people who like kebab, I like to tell them whenever they buy kebab, they should be more careful.
That's chichinga.
They're chichinga, yes. At the areas, they have to look at the sanitation of the area, where the kind of area where they are selling, so they make sure they buy the right thing. Because when you go to a place where the kebab is selling here, a kata which is very dirty, it means what you are consuming.
Those who argue that it's hot, so it kills all the germs, does it really wash?
Remember that as the man takes it from the fire, there is a moment before it gets to you.
Yes.
At that time, any house fire could have deposited something.
Okay.
And we should not forget that there are some bacteria that they are very stubborn. They don't do it. What temperature? Do you measure the temperature? Or no, we don't measure the temperature. Right. I get me. So we are not sure at that. So we said, let us be safe. Let us do the right thing. It's, as we all know, prevention is better than cure. So let us not go into the blame game whereby we say, oh, okay, this person should have done his job. Let us all do the right thing and we get there. Then also, as people are getting stuff for people, especially with the live animals, as I said, let us look at the activeness of the animal. The activeness of animal is don't just rush in and go and buy animal just for buying sake.
Because it's cheap. It's cheap. Do that.
Yes, and we should also be careful with pricing. You know, this Christmas, you should know a price of a poultry bird, you should know a price of a goat and sheep. When the price is a little bit so down, you should be careful. Maybe the animal is getting sick, or the person owner want to just sell it out easily.
Quick way of disposing it. Buy one, get one free. It's just a tactic to blind you.
You know, we are in an organized system. So you should be suspicious of what is going to happen. And I believe we Ghanaians, we are always ready to listen and do the right thing.
Great. This has been a very insightful conversation, and I'm sure you've learned a lot from it. And I must say that these are veterinary students who are trained right here in Ghana. Let me say a big thank you to you again, Benjamin Kisi Sasu and Kweku Apia Dodo. Thank you for the education.
Thank you very much.
All right.